Hey, what is going on, class? Welcome to another video. This is just going to be a warm-up, then you're going to be working on something else that'll be handed out to you. So, go ahead, pause the video, and find all of the included angles here. Alright, so looking at this, obviously we're dealing with two different transversals here. So, we need to go through and find all the angles with either one. Personally, I'm going to start with blue, just because I like to start with that one. So we go through, we're told that this is a 110 degree angle here. So I know this one is 110, that's the wrong pen size. This one is 110 degrees because it is a vertical angle. And make sure that you are practicing these problems, listing out the reason. Why are you saying that you can do this? Then, looking at this, I'm going to jump to this angle here next, because I know that these two are same side interior angles, so they must be supplementary. So add them together, we get this one needs to be 70 degrees by same side interior, which then allows me to say, well, this one's 70 degrees. I'm going to write it really small so we can see it, based on vertical angles. And realistically here, you could probably just say they're all whatever angle based on vertical angles for the blue. Try to avoid that. Try to use more of the definitions if possible. Then looking here, we can see this is clearly a line, so these must be supplementary. So this one must be 110 degrees by the definition of supplementary. And we can kind of just build from there. This one is 70 degrees by alternate interior angles, 70 degrees by corresponding parts, and 110 by alternate exterior. And we can go ahead, we can get all these definitions in here on the blue side. We're going to do the exact same thing for the red. If you were struggling before, pause the video, try that red side on your own, and then come back. So here, we know that one is 40 degrees based on good old faithful vertical angles. Then we can use the definition of supplementary on the transversal to say that this one must be 140 because they are supplemental. And then you can kind of just come in and say whatever definition works for you. I'll use supplemental there because I'm going off that line. Alternate interior, vertical, I'll just use a V there. 140, alternate exterior, corresponding, and that gets me all of those angles. Now, I'm going to zoom in. Now we can do this one, where we're using both of the transversals to create this last one. So if we take 40 plus 70, we get 110. 110 degrees means that we need another 70 degree angle to complete our triangle, because triangles have 180 degrees of interior angle. So this is a 70-degree angle. Here, let me actually do something to, what was that? Make our lives a little easier. I'm going to switch pens here. Call this 40, 70, 70. Which means this whole section up here is just one linear pair, which means it's really straightforward. I need a 70-degree angle by vertical. Here I used the definition of a triangle, and then 110 by supplementary and vertical. Something I would encourage you to think about is, how does this angle here relate to these angles? It's a really good question to think about. So how does this angle and that angle, by the nature of being vertical, how does this angle relate to this one? Pause the video, give that one some thought, maybe think about it as you're working through your homework and stuff. But that is our completed diagram for that warm-up. We've got one more question we're going to look at right now. And that is this one. Go ahead, pause the video, give this one a shot, and move on from there. So I'll see you in a minute. All right, so this one is, we're starting to get to the fun stuff where we're really putting our brains to use and challenging ourselves. So we're looking at this. We get two algebraic expressions defining our angles. So first up, we're told that A and B are parallel and C and D are parallel. So since they are all parallel to another angle and they're all intersecting, that tells me some pretty cool stuff. Since this line traverses two parallel lines, I can use all of our different angle measures, all of the different same side, interior, corresponding, all of that, to say that these angles, if I just drug them up, they would be these angles. That these two are exactly the same. But since I've got two parallel lines being traversed here, that means that all of these angles are congruent to all of these angles, and all of these angles are congruent to all of these angles. So realistically, if I'm given a problem where I'm given two sets of parallel lines, I don't actually have to do anything after I find that first set. So we start the process of figuring out these angles. So I know that these two have to be supplementary because they lie on the same line that is a straight angle. So I have 4x plus 40 plus 7x minus 3 equals 180. Go ahead, combine our like terms. Anything that's got an x interacts with things that have an x. Things without an x interact with things without an x. So we end up with 4 plus 7 is 11. X plus 37 equals 180. Then just solve for x. We have plus 37. We move that by subtracting 37. And we end up with 11x equals 143. Now, when you're looking at this, we can see that we've got an 11. Maybe you don't know your multiples of 11 off the top of your head. Do your long division if you need to, but you'll end up with the x equals, well, this looks like it's pretty close to 121. When I subtract that, I get 22, which means that I've got 11, 12, 13 for my x value. So then I can take that 13, plug it back in here. So I get 13 times 4, 12, 1, 4, 5, plus 40. is 92 degrees. And 13 times 7, 21, 91 minus 3 is 88. And with just a little bit of algebra, we can then say, well, by vertical angles, we know this. And using all of your different definitions, we can put together, well, that this is just going to be copying those degrees straight up and diagonal. Sorry, it takes a second to write all of these. And boom, and we're done. So really, these kinds of problems are ultimately way easier than a lot of the ones that we see when we have two transversals that are going in opposite directions. So make sure if you were following along with this, you're like, yep, I 100% agree, Mr. Curry. That makes perfect sense. Great. You're in a great position. Make sure you're doing your homework and getting prepared for that test. If you are confused in any way, make sure to go back, watch all the videos that I've posted for this unit, and do all of the homework assignments. Those assignments are designed to help you prepare for the test and have very similar questions. Make sure you're doing all the practice work, and if you need help, feel free to send me an email. Have a good day.